Good evening, dear Kuwait television viewers, and welcome to another new episode of your weekly program, Kuwait in 30 Minutes. The English News and Political Programs Department has prepared a variety of reports that highlight the main events that have recently taken place across Kuwait. Our committed team of reporters is constantly engaged in numerous events with the objective of keeping you, dear viewers, aware of the latest information, regulations and policies. Our aim is to help you obtain information in the latest developments at the local scene. So stay tuned for more coming your way this evening. In our first report, Union of Cooperative Societies plays an important role amid the exceptional circumstances witnessed by the country to provide all the needs and goods for citizens and residents. Cooperative Society, located within the lockdown areas, has developed a mechanism for work progress in the light of the full lockdown. More with our reporter, Ghanwa Jabouri.
A vital and effective role played by the cooperative societies amid the circumstances due to COVID-19 within Khaitan. Being one of the lockdown areas, the goods are available 24 hours a day. Hussein al-Dassam, member of Khaitan Cooperative Societies, said that Khaitan Society managed to provide more than 6 gas sale points during the lockdown to meet the needs of the residents, noting that Khaitan is one of the overpopulated areas with more than 200,000 people and that one gas point was not enough. He praised the distinguished efforts made by all the staff, employees and volunteers to meet the needs of the consumers and control the spread of COVID-19. Union of Cooperative Societies plays an important role amid the exceptional circumstances witnessed by the country to provide all the needs and goods for citizens and residents.
The Ministry of Interior has prepared a quarantine area for its employees and supplied it with all required staff and equipment within a record time in accordance with established health standards to receive and provide the necessary care for suspected cases. Our reporter Hadid Fahd has more.
Within the efforts of the Ministry of Interior to address virus corona and support the efforts of the state and health authorities with a view to relieving pressure on hospitals and medical staff, the Ministry of Interior has prepared a medical quarantine for the employees of the Ministry of Interior and provided with all devices and equipment within a record time in accordance with the established health standards.
Support to Ministry of Health to take care for our police here. We open many, this club we open it for people in work in the Ministry of Interior. Anybody have this COVID-19, we bring him here and we take care for him, and we have about 180 rooms to take care for them. You know, this is police, he's take care for our country. For that we put for them special place to take care for them.
Coordination was made with the Ministry of Health within the framework of the cooperation protocol between the two sides to supervise the construction of the quarantine and ensure that all health standards and requirements are provided to provide the best care for sick persons. The quarantine is in the officer club with a capacity of 200 beds, and it was provided with all medical devices, equipment and staff ready to receive various cases and provide the necessary care to them with the availability of all security and safety measures.
globe celebrated the World Blood Donor Day amid the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, shedding light on the need to provide appropriate quantity of safe bloods. The Central Blood Bank has launched intensive campaigns to encourage blood donation under the theme Safe Blood, Save Lives. More details with our reporter.
On 14th of June each year, the World Health Organization celebrates the World Blood Donation Day. This year, the theme for 2020 under the slogan, Donate Your Blood and Save the Lives.
It is an international event, and it is a good event that and a good opportunity to thank all our donors and all our community societies who worked with us to have a good supply for all hospitals in Kuwait.
The campaign focuses on the participation of individuals and donors to improve the health of others in the local community.
The culture for blood donation have been improved in Kuwait, and it have been very well seen during this period where we have the coronavirus pandemic in Kuwait. So we saw that the donors are very committed for giving blood, and the other communities are very committed to help us in gaining and recruiting more donors. So this day it is an opportunity to thank them all.
WHO has called people for donating blood in conjunction with the outbreak of the coronavirus via social media following the spread of the coronavirus.
Athletes, coaches and sport administrators took coronavirus tests in the Sports Medicine Center for Health and Awareness in Khaldiya, a step required before launching local sport activities. The testing will include athletes from various unions and clubs and in all games. A tripartite committee formed by the General Authority for Sports, the Olympic Committee and the Ministry of Health will evaluate the results before resuming sport training. Our reporter Isra Ishimari has more.
As a prelude to the return of sports activity in Kuwait by launching team training, the Sports Medicine Center for Health and Awarenesses in Khaldiya began applying COVID-19 test examination to all athletes of various games in implementation of health authorities' instructions and in accordance with the approved international protocols.
As we all know, there's a pandemic around the world, which is the COVID-19. That spread around the continent and even in Kuwait. And for the joint committee, that is a committee assembled by Kuwait Olympic Committee, also the Public Authority for Sport and the Ministry of Health. Those joint committee will do or will make a regulation for the sport to come back, as they say, and for the athletes. And there are some regulations and rules for the athletes to practice their sport in general.
The green light will not be given to start training in any club or federation unless the facilities are completely sterilized and swabs are taken for players, administrators, coaches and employees of this club, and all results must be negative.
And today I'm here in Khaldiya Hospital, thanks to the Public Authority of Sport to take the tampon against the COVID-19.
All clubs, in cooperation with the tripartite committee, sent the statement of those they wish to examine and stressed the application of health requirements and obligations set by the International Federation and the Ministry of Health to ensure the safety of all before, during and after the training.
Also, the test will take less than 5 minutes for the swab to be taken by the physicians and medical staff for the athletes. And after that, the result will be text to the athlete by an SMS within or less than 24 hours. We would like here to thank all the athletes and federation and clubs in Kuwait for their full cooperation with us, and we demand more cooperation from them to finish this and to finish this test, and also to make it happen for the sport to come back.
The center is seeking, in cooperation with the tripartite committee, to complete the conduct of 6,000 swabs for athletes, and that the capacity of center will increase to take 400 swabs daily. However, the taking swabs will continue even after the start of the club training, and according to the reports of tripartite committee. Reporting to Kuwait 30 Minutes, this is Isra Shimri.
Under the patronage and in the presence of Sheikh Du'aij Al Khalifa Sabah, and in collaboration with the Ministry of Interior, a campaign titled "You Are Our Family" by non-profit organization Basmat Al Kuwait was recently launched in the Salmiya area. The campaign, headed by human rights activist Khalid Al Sabeh, witnessed the volunteers alongside Sheikh Du'aij Al Khalifa to distribute a number of goods to children and families in a bid to boost their morale during these difficult and trying times. More in the following report by Khanwat Jabouri.
A campaign titled "You Are Our Family" by non-profit organization Basmat Al Kuwait in collaboration with the Ministry of Interior and in the presence of Sheikh Du'aij Al Khalifa Al Sabah was recently launched in the Salmiya area, an initiative by Khalid Al Sabeh.
Tonight we're distributing gifts and colors and food and bread for the people who are needed, and with Khalid Sabeh.
Thank you for Wazarat Saha, and I have so much from my brothers. Thank you for everyone. I have some toys and chips. Thank you so much for Kuwait, and I love so much Kuwait. You are so good, and I love Kuwait.
A variety of goods were distributed to children and adults. The goods included nutritional meals, ice cream, coloring books, bread, sweets, juice, and a lot more. The campaign is part of Basmat Al Kuwait's humanitarian goal, which is to reach out to communities during the COVID-19 pandemic.
The COVID-19 crisis proved beyond doubt the importance of agriculture and, by extension, the self-sufficiency of basic agricultural products needed by consumers. The government, represented by the Public Authority for Agriculture Affairs and Fish Resources, has supported local farmers, providing them with all the potentials to ensure the food security for the state. Hadil Fahad has more.
In Kuwait, there are energetic farmers who spend their time in the farms to produce various products, respond to the call of a duty in crisis, and support the domestic market with local products. They play an important role in ensuring the food security.
We could cover the strategic reserve for the state of Kuwait, harvesting the crops and transferring them to the central markets at Wafr and Ardiya on the same day. The Ministry of Commerce fixed the prices as a token of support for the citizens and residents.
On the other hand, the state cares about the local product by compelling the cooperative societies to purchase 75% at least of the local production.
Ministry of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs recently gave the green light to mosques in some areas to reopen after almost 3 months of closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The reopening of mosques in model residential and sparsely populated areas have undergone full sterilizations to protect worshippers and staff alike from the novel coronavirus. However, the weekly Friday noon sermon and prayers will only be performed at the Grand Mosque in Kuwait City and will be broadcasted on Kuwait TV. Reporter Ghanwa Jabouri has more in the following report.
Ministry of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs recently approved the gradual reopening of mosques, but only the mosques located in thinly populated areas, while mosques in densely populated areas will be kept for a later stage.
Based on the decision of the Council Ministers regarding the opening of worship places and mosques during Phase 1 of returning to normal life, the Ministry of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs has decided to reopen a number of mosques for daily prayers in carefully selected areas around the country. The Ministry of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs has prepared 138 mosques for reopening during Phase 1 in Mubarak al-Kabir Governorate by observing medical instruction, which include posting leaflets, leaving a 2-meter distance between worshippers, providing masks and sanitizers, and closing toilet facilities. The visitors would not be allowed into the mosques unless they wore masks and brought their own praying rugs with them. Also, senior citizens, children, and sick people were prohibited from entering worship places.
Kuwait's Islamic authorities recently gave the green light to mosques to reopen while heeding health precautions against the novel coronavirus to ensure the safety of all worshippers. Reopening the mosques will be conducted according to strict preventive methods, including sterilizing the sites frequently before and after prayers.
As part of the efforts of the Ministry of Interior to combat the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, the General Directorate of Security Relations and Media developed a number of awareness messages in different languages for expatriates living in Kuwait since the crisis began. The Directorate continues its endeavors utilizing drones to spread instructions and precautionary measures for the non-Arabic speaking residents. More details with our reporter Hadi Fahd.
The General Directorate of Security Relations and Media has an effective part in applying the precautionary measures to combat COVID-19. In this regard, drones play an important part in communicating awareness message in several languages using loudspeakers.
The campaign includes many instructions directed to the citizens and residents, and these instructions are abiding by the curfew hours that start from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and it's part of the reopening plan in the first phase of the reopening plan. Also to abide by instructions and rules issued by concerned authorities to avoid any legal accountability, wearing the face mask in the grace period of wandering, avoid social gathering and avoid the crowded places, and keep enough social distancing when they are outside home.
This advanced technology saves time and covers a larger area via truck equipped with high-definition camera, reflecting a civilized way in addressing crisis.
Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research presented several projects to detect the coronavirus in humans and animals, in addition to determining the extent of the spread of the virus in the air. Dr. Mohammed Al-Ataibi, Qasr Virology and Microbiology Specialist in the Biotechnology Program, stressed the need to be cautious, taking into account social distancing and other health instructions. More in the following report with our correspondent.
Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research is replete with qualified and experienced national researchers and scientific technicians from national ready to carry out all the applied researches needed. KSER presented a project for the early detection of the coronavirus and its spread in the air.
Detection of viral loads in the air at closed areas that people expresses either the symptoms by coughing and sneezing or even breathing, and these areas can be a potential hazard that the virus itself is sustainable in that areas for a certain time to infect other people and circulating in that area.
And the impact of high temperatures, of the effectiveness of the virus transmission.
The heat which is in the climate that reaches 20, 30 or 40 degrees, that doesn't do much killing or inactivation of the virus alone. It is joined by the solar radiance, which is the main effective source of viral inactivation, and the heat is adjacent effect, and that's how by that temperature it can kill the virus in a shorter time with the aid of light.
Citizens and residents are requested to take precautions, observe the social distancing and abide by the instructions and guidance to avoid the re-increase of coronavirus infected cases due to contact after reimposing the partial ban.
In view of the exceptional circumstances that Kuwait is confronting due to the novel coronavirus pandemic and the impact that COVID-19 has had on both employees of various professions and commercial properties, Zakat House has granted its tenants a 25% rent discount for a period of 6 months, beginning from April 1st to September 30th, 2020. Head of the Zakat House Media Department, Hamid Al-Meri, recently visited tenants in the Salmiya area to personally notify a number of tenants and various businesses of the grant, which was met by great relief enjoyed by tenants and businesses alike. More the following report by Ghanwa Japouri.
In light of the current challenging circumstances that Kuwait is facing regarding the COVID-19 and that has ultimately led to many businesses and tenants to bear a financial burden beyond their capabilities, a number of real estate owners have been encouraged to offer tenants reductions on their rent as a way to alleviate their financial burden.
By the beginning of the corona virus disaster here, we were shocked from this. We thought that the life was stopped, finished. We reached to the end, and nothing we can do. We don't have money to spend, to leave to our countries, or even to pay the rent. The rent is the most thing that I have think about. I was worried about the rent.
Playing their compassionate role during the current difficult times, Zakat House has granted its tenants 25% rent discount, which applies to both Kuwaiti and expatriate tenants in the investment and commercial properties.
I would like to say thank you very much for Beit Zakah for initiative to help us for this situation, and we are appreciated for them. Thank you very much, Beit Zakah.
Many tenants welcomed the decision taken by Zakat House, noting that such a kind initiative is something that they very much needed, and that Kuwait is known for its compassion and humanitarian efforts and roles.
Professionals with the different specialties as well as volunteers from different civil societies contribute in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. The private sector is also contributing in the battle against the COVID-19 pandemic, such as the LML Factory. Here's more with Saleh Al-Abedi.
The LML Factory is a Kuwaiti company that relies on Kuwaiti manpower to produce top-quality facial masks that are superior to other facial masks available in the market. The masks are made up of 4 layers to ensure maximum protection for the user. The raw materials used for the masks are all imported from Germany that are made up of thick layers to protect the masks from tearing and getting destroyed, but at the same time it is soft on the face and it's comfortable to use. These masks are supposed to last the user all day without losing its protection abilities. The innovative idea of this production line was 100% Kuwaiti, and the team worked hard to ensure that they did not compromise on the quality of their product. The factory is capable to produce 4 to 5 million masks daily, which means that in the near future there won't be a shortage of facial masks to the general public. Furthermore, the prices of the locally produced facial masks will be reasonable for everyone to get, and the factory's mission is to ensure that everyone will be able to afford their need of these masks. As the owner dedicated his production line to His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, and to the general public of the state of Kuwait. Today we are here at the LML Factory where they're manufacturing facial masks right here in Kuwait. This is Saleh Al-Abedi reporting for Kuwait in 30 minutes.
In an attempt to bolster the medical stockpiles in Kuwait, a shipment arrived from China carrying medical equipment and supplies, as well as machines that can manufacture masks. Our reporter Hadid Fahad brings us more.
The Public Authority of Industry and Kuwait Foundation for the Advancement of Scientific participated in the delivery of medical supplies, including gloves, surgical guns, and face shields for use by Kuwaiti health professionals as a part of the foundation's efforts in the emergency response program to reduce the growing threat of the COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak.
This is the 7th shipment coming from China through this week, but before that we had also shipments. We started about like a week ago doing an air bridge from China to Kuwait. Those are government shipments. Of course, we dedicated those airplanes to the need of the government first, before the commercial. Of course, the shipment as usual, we have masks and we have factories, and we have also factories.
In this crisis, everyone provides their continued support to the government to confront this pandemic. Reporting to Kuwait in 30 minutes, this is Hadil Fahad.
Unfortunately, this brings us to the conclusion of tonight's episode of Kuwait in 30 minutes. We hope to see you again same time next week. Our highly dedicated team of correspondents is constantly out on the field searching for reports that matter most to you. Thank you for joining us tonight, and see you next week with more exclusive reports. Have a good night.